go live. It says in stream, meaning streaming is occurring. So what's up?
So I told you all I was going to tell you a story about what happened to my wife last Saturday. We were at a place in Yukon where my mom lives. My mom's birthday's coming up, and we were investigating this place as a possible birthday party site.
A venue or whatever.
A venue, and it's a place. It's in Yukon. It's the Czech Hall. My mom is Czechoslovakian. They have dances there. We thought we would do it, at the dance. But I said before we decide, we should go check it out. So my brother, my sister, myself, Michelle, my brother's girlfriend, and my mom. Wow, all win.
Shagas.
Oh. That's a Cthulhu thing, right?
You can barely see it though, right? I mean, you can't really.
I thought it was something you smoke. Okay, go ahead.
No.
Anyway, so it was cold. It was windy that day. My wife goes ahead of me. I'm kind of waiting in the parking lot for my mom. I go in. Wow, it's a lot of teeth. I go in.
Painted, by the way.
We're gathered around, and I go, what happened? And my sister goes, Michelle fell and hit her head. And I go,
good
what?
God.
So she was standing up. She's kind of leaning against the wall. So I helped her over to a bench. And I was like, are you okay? She was okay. She said, I'm a little dizzy. Let me sit down. I said, do you want water? No. So my sister, I'm talking to her. My sister's kind of looking at her head. And she pulls her hand back, and her hand is just covered with blood. And she
Good
goes,
Lord.
She goes,
that's awful.
Oh, my gosh. She goes, her head is really bleeding.
Very crabby.
Oh. Well, what's the end of that story? Did she get stitches?
I took her to the ER, and they checked her out. She didn't get a concussion or anything. She had 2 pretty good contusions on the back of her head. They think it was from a hair clip she was wearing. Those
head wounds, if they're in the right spot, they'll just bleed. You'll just bleed out from them. Yeah, there's a lot of blood.
She got 6 staples.
What caused Michelle to fall?
So the wind blew the door, and she was pulling the door. She was kind of walking backwards. And she tripped over the threshold.
It sailed her. Yeah.
Well, she was fighting against the wind, and it tripped her. And luckily, the building's a real old building, and it had a wooden floor, so she was pretty good. She skipped church Sunday
with a car, not a personal. It didn't hit me, but I parked my car up on a hill to watch horses. There's a big stable there.
Yeah,
a big piece of property. It's horse country where I was in New York. And I open up the door, and my car was about 4 years old then. That car, it's gone now, but Chevy. And the Cavalier, very good car.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good car. Anyway, I opened the door, and the wind broke whatever kept it in place into the side of the car.
Yeah.
I had to have major body work.
That happened to a pickup truck I was driving one time when I delivered auto parts. And it wasn't the wind though. I had a part fly out of the back, and so I stopped and went to get it, and a truck went by and it whipped the door and it sprung it.
Wow.
And it bent. It did some damage to it.
It's amazing. Some of this stuff you couldn't pry loose with a crowbar. Some of these winds we have here come along and just lift a roof off like it's tissue paper.
Yep, I've lost part of my roof from the winds.
Yep.
This happened in Oklahoma. I was driving and the hood popped up.
Oh my God, I've had that happen. Isn't that horrifying? Having your old hood pop up.
I have a question for you, Mario, and you may not know the answer to this. When I was a kid, you had a white older car. Do you happen to remember what kind of car that was?
A white older car. I had a
yeah. I do remember the car.
And was it a Dodge?
It may have been a Dodge. The rear taillights had a curve over them.
Yeah.
They had a curve over them. I remember
Yeah,
that.
but it wasn't,
I don't remember
was
the
it
make.
Dodge Valiant?
It could have. I don't.
Doesn't
think
sound
so.
right. Okay.
The old Valiants, I think, were a little more spiky and jaggy, weren't they? They didn't round over
I
their
was
lights.
just I just remember that car when you worked over at Grandma's, and I was kind of wondering if you remembered what it was.
Those
I had a
Valiants
car
are cool.
stolen in L.A.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Now you know Les, Scott.
Yeah.
You met Les.
Yeah.
At some
I remember
point.
Les.
He was very deep into the well, let's say.
He was more than he appeared versus less. Go ahead. Never mind.
Okay. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ignore me. Go ahead.
Well, he and this is tragic actually, because his from a previous marriage, he married my mother.
Yeah.
From a previous marriage, he had 2 kids and a wife. And Kerr McGee, Silkwood.
Yes,
movie,
Kerr McGee.
Yeah.
they had a fire that caught their house, killed the wife and the daughter,
Oh wow.
and 70% burns on the son.
Mm.
So they paid him off with $1 million, and Les got some of that and drank right through it. But before he did, I was in California. He bought me a super sport car. It was in cherry condition,
Yeah.
and and he had it delivered. Like, this woman drove it to my door.
Wow.
And
Just because he was loaded, huh? Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I remember
I had
Les.
it for 2 weeks. It was that was white car. I had 2 weeks because I went to get an oil change, and I'm going to be careful how I say this, because this was in L.A. and it was a place where a lot of cars are driven south, chopped up,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and sold in whatever way, I don't know, because I'm not involved in that. But
Yep. They are chopped.
I went to have my oil change, and the guy said, "Oh, what's your address?" I should have. I wasn't ready for that. I came from OU. I was just got there from OU, where
You didn't think about.
You don't think about crime.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And they were, well, the very first day I saw somebody get mugged.
Oh yeah.
And the next day I'm on the bus, I see somebody get stabbed with a screwdriver. I had to run a few times to not get mugged.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they work in teams.
I've done very cautious walking and keeping my head on a swivel as I was pursued by somebody one time, but they eventually gave it up.
Yeah. That even happened in Paris. I had 2 guys following me.
Oh, really?
I stood on the side and let them. I can pick them up because I had been in LA and I got paranoid. So paranoia has some use sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole way that you're going to get
awareness.
mugged.
Let's call it awareness.
Mhm.
There you
Awareness
go.
that you gain through experience.
All of our
Paranoid.
south of the border extra population that's come here, the ones that are crime prone you aren't going to get hit by one of them. You're going to get hit by a couple of them. It's going to be a team affair. And so all the self-defense
in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's just the way you do things in the third world. You go out with 1, 2, or 3, and with 2 or 3.
well,
If you're poor, the rules are different. You have different rules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to, if you have no money, you behave differently.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a lot of money, you behave differently too, and not always, and just as bad in many ways, or if not worse.
Yeah, and they talk about that, how you walk down the street. People can tell if you're kind of victim material,
And I got to say, I wanted to add to that, because that's one of the times, I was, like I said, I just finished OU. I was in graduate school in OU, and I had that run-in with the 2 clowns from Texas. And so I wasn't used to being accosted in the street, for instance. That doesn't happen in Oklahoma. People are very well behaved generally, right? I may have changed. It did start changing back when I came back in 83, 84. Drugs had swept in. Everybody was on drugs. But anyway, and not good drugs. Well, anyway. So
that's another thing criminal. Go ahead.
I flinched when I saw these two guys.
Yep.
Because they looked dangerous. So I flinched, and of course, they're crime radar. So one guy, they're walking by, and one guy punches me in the arm. And I just ignored it because I knew what was coming next. So I just kept walking, and then I looked in the store. And and this was on broad daylight, by the way, in Hollywood Boulevard. Broad daylight. My friend, a lady friend from OU, from the art school, who came and we lived together briefly. That was a sad story too, but she got mugged on the bus, and they work in teams. One guy distracts you, and the other guy hits your pocket or your purse or whatever you have. Yeah, and then I was mugged right in front of my building. I already told you that story, I believe, didn't I?
I think you may have mentioned it, but you can tell it again.
You may have told me. We ended up beating up the guy.
Oh, you beat him up.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay. So I'm coming back from swimming at the high school. This is in the Bronx, and I'm about 16, I think, probably 16. Yes. Wait a minute. Yeah, because we went out to Oklahoma when I was 17. I was about 16, maybe 15. So big guy. We're coming back. He starts chatting to us, talking to us, and he starts pushing us. He says, "Open up your pockets," And I had like 7 cents in a comb. So it was payday for him, baby.
Yeah, he was after that coat.
And then he was drunk. So he starts pushing us around, and he punched my Alfred, who was kind of a stocky guy, in the mouth, and he says, "You chipped my tooth." And Alfred kicked him between the legs. So the guy made a mistake. He ran. Alfred ran after him and tackled him on the concrete.
Yeah, that'll equalize you right there, getting a tackle.
And you've heard the expression "see red," right? You've heard that expression. I saw red. So I ran down there, and I kicked the guy in the head. His head bounced off the hubcap. There's cars on the street. And then I was hitting him in the head. I saw red. I lost it out of fear.
Yeah, you had one of those.
Boom, boom, boom. And then Alfred's down the end of the street saying, "See you tomorrow." And I'm hitting this guy because I lost track of where he was. I literally saw red.
He said, "I'm going home."
Luckily, we were.
That sounds like a Freaks and Geeks episode.
I ran inside. I just got into, looked through the peek hole, and I see the guy run by going up the stairs, and the cops are right behind him. The lady above us had seen what was happening, called the cops. Another time, my mother's looking out the window. We're on the first floor. First, we lived on the 5th floor, no elevator. Then we moved down to the 1st floor. And she's looking out the window, and I'm sitting there, and I see it too. I see something fall in front of her, and it was a baby.
Oh my God!
And they took the baby to the hospital, and they released her that night.
Was it an instance of the baby just throwing itself out the window, basically?
I don't know.
Okay.
I never learned that.
Well, I hope that's the only way she got out that window.
Reading superhero comics. That's what does it. They think they can fly.
Yeah. They think they can fly.
Eric Clapton's kid died like that going out the window.
Yeah.
How many times have you guys been kicked in the nuts? I've had it happen, I think, at least 3 times.
What?
I been mugged 2 times in karate, so that's legit.
Oh, okay.
But the one time I got kicked in the wild in the nuts was right after a movie when I was 12 years old. I'll tell you the name of the movie. So I was waiting, just like these guys apparently were waiting, because so they were waiting to be picked up. But there were about 3 or 4 of them, probably about 4, and they kind of surrounded me and were giving me gruff and stuff and all this. And I was just trying to be stoic and like acting like, hey, get away from me or whatever, and didn't say it. I don't think I said a word. And finally, one guy took a step and a half and kicked me right in the nuts. And it's like, it just made a big poof, pow sound, and, and I just,
there's nothing funny about that.
And I just sit there and just took it and tried to, just stay the same stone statue I still was. I was mad as hell, but just letting it kind of flow out of me as an energy. And then, but while they were contemplating the effect and all that, their ride arrived. So I was rid of them that instant. And then the effect came to me. It's like, oh man, I've been kicked in the nuts. That would have been the first time.
Was the karate before or after this time?
After I was 12 at this time. And the movie was right after Thunderball.
Oh no.
12 years old. So I'm watching something that's made me feel like, I've projected studliness from I'm Sean Connery now, in my brain, I get out in the alley next to the Villa Theater and get kicked in the nuts.
Did that help later when you were pissing blood?
Yeah. So that was, those were regular, ordinary civil Okies that came from some part of the tracks I was unfamiliar with, they were just white. White rebellious kids are back apparently with the Minecraft. Have you seen any of this footage of these nuts that are watching Minecraft? There's apparently, like, instead of a Rocky Horror Picture Show where they sing along and everything, apparently when someone says this one part of the movie saying, oh my God, it's a chicken jockey, which is apparently is a little zombie that's riding a chicken in Minecraft. I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd goes wild, and they start throwing these big oversized buckets of popcorn all the way across the theater at each other. And the theater management is just going crazy, saying, these kids, they've got to be brought under control. And you can look at the photos of it. It's all white kids. So finally, these juvenile delinquents have turned back into being white kids again. So we've got... I'm happy. I'm pleased. That
juvenile delinquents come in all colors.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't be confused.
Yeah, but
equal opportunity.
Yeah, but they've gone viral being bad behavior.
So
I like it.
One thing I wanted to say,
Ellis, attracts attention.
Yeah.
Mario's kind of tall. How tall are you, Mario?
I'm not. I'm right now. I actually shrunk a little bit, and I'm under 6 feet.
Well, how tall were you at your height?
6 feet.
6 feet? Okay, maybe it just seemed like Mario was tall.
You were little. You were little. That's why.
I was little. Maybe it was.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was your hair.
And I had hair. That's right.
You had hair.
I used to have long hair.
Yeah. I'm probably about 5'11". I used to measure myself to the max at, I'd say, hey, look I'm 5'11 3/4. Like that was the way to measure that. I don't know. I do dead hangs now. Maybe I'm at.
You've gotten taller.
Yeah, maybe I've gotten taller.
Your arms have gotten longer.
My arms are longer. It's probably the only result. The dead hang is kind of like putting yourself on a rack. I guess that's what they used to call that, stretching you.
I want to show some pictures. If that's
okay. Share some screens. I was sharing old Edwin Hopper. I got in close to it.
I saw that.
Add to stage. Here we go. I got in close just because I asked for a high-res Nighthawks. And sure enough, I got one that's about 7,000 pixels across.
Oh, wow.
And you can get in there tight. And in terms of like the subject being color blindness, I thought, well, now this redhead, I could tell she was orangey red hair.
Painting.
Yeah, it is. And I thought to myself, well, she's going to have the traditional green of a redhead dress on. And so I had to color pick it. And I said, no, come on, Goodson, that's as red as lipstick.
Yeah.
And so, and so that just shows you how a colorblind person, what my sensitivities are like. It's like I had myself convinced she wasn't in a red dress.
What color's my shirt?
Your shirt is sport orange.
It's red.
It's bright red. That's like fire, almost fire engine.
It's very bright red.
You're calling that red. I'd call that orangey. I think there'd be quite a bit of yellow in that.
Well, now it's kind of.
I think there is yellow in there. I could see
it.
But it's still red.
It's very red.
And you're still calling it red.
It does have orange. It's an orange red. But it leans towards the red. It's way over on the red side.
Okay, it's okay.
We had a tour today at my work that I had.
I see that.
And it was Votech kids, the graphic arts kids, the Votech, and they asked about PMS colors. I talked about how important it was, and this is a perfect example because one man's red is one man's orange if you don't have numbers to back it up. So
Skull.
I don't have any coffee on me. I think
this is coffee. This isn't.
Oh, okay.
Vodka. No, it is coffee.
Well,
funny for vodka.
Yeah, you have a little gin or vodka every now and then, don't you?
I have a couple of vodkas a day.
I could go for having some Tanqueray tonic Tanqueray and tonic.
I usually have something going on by the. I take care of all the responsibilities first during the day.
Yeah.
Get everything done and make sure I'm safe and everything else is good, and then
have a couple of buds or something like that. Yep, or not buds. I meant smoking bud.
To put a lid on.
Yeah.
The issues.
Yep. I
have go ahead. I'm sorry, but I was going to show the screen.
Okay.
So it's there. You have to select it, I believe.
If it shows up, I don't see it.
It's MG.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I got it. I have to every now and then I've got the screen narrowed too much. Oh. That's the man from Atlantis, isn't it? Patrick Duffy.
So that's my hair there.
That's your hair? Oh, that's you. Yep. Okay. I thought you were the man from Atlantis, Patrick Duffy.
I was about 23, I think. Okay. 23 or 24 there. And that's my hair. Oh,
that's what I think. You look taller with the afro.
What's that? That was not an afro.
That was your natural hair.
That is my natural hair. It's. Anyway, this is the Kung Fu family.
Oh, cool. And this is something you did the whole the rules for and everything.
I made the rules. I sculpted the figures. I painted these figures. Below the Kung Fu family, you will find the undead lesbian ninja nuns. And if you read the comic book, I could send you the comic. And this is Slime Evil down here. He's a vampire. Nice. So now this is a show from a show I did in Second Life. It's a movie.
Oh, cool.
So that's this. You'll see. So moving the camera around. It was a big room, and I had all these different paintings and things, 3D and 3D stuff too. I have some you can see that thing floating around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what year is this?
No, this is about 4 years ago.
Oh, cool.
That's one of my favorite.
I like that painting, Mario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, it was one of the first things I got paid for was doing an Indian letterhead, an Indian's head for a letterhead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Mrs. Limestall got that job for me. Yeah, well, I was still in high school.
Yeah, I had her in high school.
You did?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She talked about you.
They just won't go away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I don't. To be honest, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was very.
That's one of my favorites
Yeah.
right there. This
Oh, I like
was it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have
The,
some black canvases I made. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
See,
know if mom or grandma knew that you had her, but somebody when I enrolled in whatever grade that was would have been 10th, 9th or 10th grade art. I had her.
Now, did you share this on something like a Discord or some sort of like a Sim City kind of thing?
This is right at the end of the COVID, and I created that thing with the molecules, and that's hanging in my bedroom. That last one. Now these are, I didn't paint the women. I just put the weapons in their hands.
Yeah, it was just part of the yeah. I get it. Are those those are sergeants, aren't they?
Yes.
One of them is. I think.
One of them is. That's mine. And okay, and this is the art gallery that I'm in. I did that. This is That's 3D. I took a picture of what I made with those things together. So those are still upstairs, and that's some shenanigans from Second Line.
My cat just wandered in. It'll probably try to annoy me. That's all right. That's cool. That looks kind of like Ashley. No, that looks like Jamie Hewlett a little bit. That particular face. Yeah.
So I have a new. I'm going to take a picture of the new one now that I've worked on.
I have an image you sent me, Mario, a long time ago, and it's a famous painting, and it's I think it's called the Sea Nymphs or something like that, and these women bathing.
Yeah, he showed me that.
Did he show you that?
That's probably my masterpiece.
Yeah,
it might be. It might be.
As far as Photoshop, pasting stuff in Photoshop. I do a lot of that. Yeah.
Mario and I have had a lot of recent trouble with our Photoshop versions not being compatible.
Yeah,
you're kidding.
With the text, those fonts.
Yeah, the text stuff.
Oh, the font. Well, yeah, that could be.
It might be my brand. Actually, what year is your
Well, I'm using the absolute last version you can buy without having a subscription, which is CSX. Or CS6.
Well, you could, if you look at about this Mac, they'll tell you what year it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's talking about the software. Were you asking about what year the Mac was, Mario?
Yes.
Oh, you're asking my Mac. Oh, I know it's really bad shape.
No, your new one, your Mini Mac. You just bought.
Oh, I haven't tried to open that. I've got Yosemite 1010.
But that's the software. I'm talking about the year that the computer was.
Oh, about this Mac. That is the year it. I don't know. Does it say anything about the year it came out? Oh, it says.
Yeah. Where it says iMac, the first line after Mac OS. I'm on Monterey. Also version blah blah blah, and then under that it says. Yours should say Mini Mac, I guess.
Mac Mini mid. Oh, it says mid 2011. So it's
that's what it is. See, so that makes a difference because even between my Mac, which is about almost 10 years old, and this laptop that I just bought, there's some issues.
Mm-hmm.
Things working differently.
Oh,
some software wouldn't go over. Wouldn't migrate. Anyway, so that's that.
I wonder why.
I like that painting.
Yeah, but that's not that's not the effect I was trying to achieve. I'm trying to get us back.
There's a Facebook group I'm in that's Edward Hopper, and somebody posted some drawings that he did for preliminary of. I think the painting is called "Woman at the Theater" or something like that. It's a neat painting. I like it. I like his artwork. Everyone focuses on Nighthawk, but I like a lot of his other stuff too.
Who's that?
Edward Hopper.
Oh, Edward Hopper. He and what piece did you say you liked? What happened to Ellis?
Ellis
disappeared. Oh, There you
There
are.
we go. It took me a while to figure it out. I had to
I was
click all
just-
kinds of buttons.
I was just saying that people always focus on the Nighthawks because that's
Yeah.
because that's his famous one. But I like a lot of
right.
his other stuff.
Oh
you know.
yeah.
You
He's
said
cool.
Nighthawks, and I'm thinking of the DC pilots.
Oh yeah, the DC character Nighthawk.
Or the
You
awful
know, I was
Stallone
actually
movie.
thinking of the Hawks. What did they call the flying guys from World War II?
Black Hawks.
Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. That's it.
Yes.
Blackhawks. I like that costume. That's ripped off from the.
There's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
They had great tailors.
That one is just everybody I think identifies that with that if they ever got out at night and were feeling all alone, Nighthawk speaks to them.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
Yeah,
and kind of like Dig being alone. I mean, if you dig being alone, Nighthawk speaks to him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of paintings that are kind of in a similar vein.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
I mean, a lot of artists are like that. They get one or two paintings that really
yeah.
you know,
Uh,
and, you know.
Can't find search.
yeah. Tell me to add anything you want me to. If you want me to add it right back to the stage, I'll do it again there, Mario. You know, if you got something you want to show off.
As soon as I find it, yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to play this, but it's about 20 minutes too late. Now, can you hear this?
Yeah, I can. Oh, you're gonna get us. It doesn't matter my size audience, but it.
Still gets to me the theme from James Bond. Oh,
Okay, let's hear it.
I got to find something to put up there. I know what I was going to put up there, but let me see something. Oh, that's the Nancy Sinatra song.
Nancy Sinatra.
Not the best vocalist in the world, but she pulled it off. Okay.
Well, she's someone that was ready for the spotlight. She had good presence in kind of a medium way. She was a good looking woman.
Yeah. Yep.
She did all right in Wild Angels with what was I guess she was she was in that with Peter Fonda. Yeah, she did okay. Oh, Roger Corman, he's always ready to use get something greenlit because he's got Nancy Sinatra and Peter Fonda in it.
Well, it's amazing that you can't find anything when you want it. I said I'm going to show all these things, and I don't even know.
You've got my filing system. Yeah, I'm going to. I've got a little note to myself to get the stuff off my iPad in case I drop that down the sewer. That's the only place those Dino Pun PSDs exist. You know, I've printed them as JPEGs several times, but we want to have the data.
I haven't looked at those. I haven't had the presence of mind to do that. I'm a little overwhelmed. I made time for this because I need some socialization.
Sure. Yeah, we all need that.
I feel the same way. I've been. It just seems like it's been crazy. Busy.
Scott and I are going to socialize tomorrow. We're going to go to a gun store.
I'm going to get a shotgun. I wouldn't mind having a few handguns enough.
Yeah.
Michelle and I just got our concealed carry permit a few months ago.
Is it how are things in Oklahoma getting a little risky
there? They're fine. They're fine. I mean, it's like everywhere. You be careful, but it never hurts. I mean, our neighborhood, it's good, but it's getting.
In fact, we're probably going to the trouble of going to a place that could get kind of shaky in terms of like as a place to be. Going to a gun shop, but you have to go to some shaky neighborhood to get your gun out of it.
Well,
sorry, cat.
We're going downtown tomorrow. We're going to walk around, but I need to go to. We're going to Bass Pro. It's not like a pawn shop.
I can buy I can walk into Walmart. We have Walmart here.
Yeah.
And get a shotgun without too much to do.
But I think Walmart.
I'm buying a shotgun tomorrow, Mario.
Has a Walmart quit handling handguns, or maybe it's just the one that's
No,
in my area?
Carry handguns.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Walmart has a line they've stopped. They sell ammo though.
They used to sell handguns and stuff. They used to
Yeah.
have really nice displays, but they decided it was too much trouble. I think it's just the bureaucrats.
No more shotguns. They don't carry shotguns.
I don't know if they carry shotguns or not.
I think I got one of the last ones they sold. They were just had all their inventory cleared out, and I got a little single shot 410. Right, and it only cost $100.
Pump action.
That's what I'm getting tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a Remington police gun. It's a guy that I know. It's the gun that he carried for years, and he said it's a really good gun. So I'm buying it off of him tomorrow. But he's the guy we've been shooting. He has a range at his house. We've been shooting there. Because if you're going to get a gun, you need to be able to shoot it. So,
and it's unfortunately it is fear driven.
Sure.
You want to protect your home, and there's a possibility that somebody's going to break in.
He's followed closely behind by fun. Everybody likes to shoot their guns once they become a gun owner. It is fun.
Would you say, Mario? It's
No,
followed by
fear. Yeah, you wouldn't think of having a gun if you except for sport.
No.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hunt with it. I don't want to hunt.
No, I don't know.
I probably would. If I had disposable income, I wouldn't even think about protecting myself. I'd probably have a couple of fun guns. I've always liked to plink.
And I do like guns on their own. It's kind of
Yeah. I mean, I watch old Hickok 45, and he's a guy that just loves to shoot. He loves to see if he can hit a piece of iron all the way up the hill. Basically, that's his deal.
I was a pretty good shot. I'm a pretty good shot.
Well, owning something like that, it's we have insurance in case I get in a situation.
And I feel like I would not have a problem shooting someone if they were breaking in. Is that terrible?
But you never know up until the time when your heart's in your throat and you're facing the situation, how quick you would be to pull the trigger.
Go red again.
Yeah, you'd have to go red again.
Fear. Fear's the driver on the situation where you want to protect also.
Yeah, I've heard the other night I was sitting downstairs at about 11 o'clock at night, and the doorbell rang, which is unusual. And I looked on the Ring camera, and I couldn't. And it was a guy, and he was standing on the porch, and he had looked like a hat on and had a light on it. It was shining right on the door, so I couldn't see what he was doing.
That was not good.
And so I grabbed my pistol and I put it in my waistband, and it was loaded and it was ready to go. And I answered the door, and it was OG&E. There was an outage, and they thought the transformer was in my backyard, and he had a truck out there, but I couldn't see it in the Ring camera.
Because he was.
I talked to him, but I never told him. By the way, I have a gun in the back of my pants.
Well, I tell you, when I came back from California, Oklahoma had transformed.
Yeah.
And that would be about 83.
Yeah. After the oil bust.
85, actually. 85. Oh, I got back in 83, and then we went back east.
We left in 85.
Anyway, we were in an apartment, and at like 9 o'clock in the morning or some weird thing, loud music coming from next door. So I walk around, knock on the door, and he opens the door, and he's got a gun in his waistband. And I said, I just wanted to come over and tell you how much I appreciate your taste in music. No, I didn't say that. I didn't.
Well, I remember.
It's not for you. He said, it's not for you. There's some people after me. That was okay. Well, could you turn the music down a little bit if it works for you? Obviously.
Yeah, you're holding all the cards, so to speak. Well, I do work in a bad part of town, and I unlock the building and I lock it.
Oh, okay.
At least one night a week. And when I go in, if no one's there, I can carry, since I have a license, I can carry a gun to work. I keep it in my backpack and I keep my backpack locked. But if nobody's there, I'll unlock it. And if, like today, there was somebody who's kind of
too
late.
Yeah, you can't wait until
Yeah.
somebody's coming
Well,
after you
I-
and say,
I
"What,
get
did
out
you
the car."
hold on, sir? Stay
Yeah,
where
let
you
me
are
get-
here. Let me open up my bag here."
No. I come out with it. In fact, a couple of Fridays ago, there was a strange car in front of the building, and I went in the building, and it was another employee who I didn't expect to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to talking to him, and I have a holster that goes in my back, like in my pants, and I had my gun there, and I talked to him, and I walked around, and I clocked in, I got some coffee, and then one of my employees came in, and we were talking to them, and then she left, and I said, "Hang on just a second," and I got it out of and I said, I didn't want her to see my gun because I know she's very, like, gun phobic or whatever.
Yeah.
Ellis, you must have a gun story.
Oh yeah. I've lived around guns all my life. I just wondered if Scott was observant enough to have noticed what I've got next to my refrigerator and the front door in the past. I've got a little screw in the wood in the jamb. As you go into the kitchen, I've got something hanging there. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I haven't. Is it a firearm?
Well, you know why? Because it's called a slapper, and it's basically a little blackjack that police. I don't know if they carry them anymore. They would never hit anybody with one because they'd be sued. Yeah, a sap. But this one, I believe, its little product name was called the slapper or something like that.
Filled with babies or something.
Oh yeah, it'd be. It'd kill you to hit you with it. It'd knock your eye out if you hit him in the temple. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I just have that right whenever I open the front door. That's within arm's reach. My sapper. So Mario, we could put out a book just the moment we get over our little typography issues, couldn't we? I mean, I'm looking forward to getting a book out.
Now, are you talking about the dinosaur book or
Yes, the dinosaur book.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm percolating on that, and
I'm wondering if I should.
Pretty much idea is that we'll discuss it.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay.
We'll talk Tuesday. Yeah, I had to take a break. I had to back off because there was too much going on, and I can't focus.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble focusing if there's a lot of.
Yeah, I know. Guys got to solve problems. Yeah, you got to solve problems when you're deep into something like a Photoshop file.
I've been watching TV. That's how I'm relaxing now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna. I watched.
Let's see.
I'm on the last movie of the Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? What did I just watch
Look
recently?
at that. Isn't that a pretty gun?
That's my Glock.
Your Glock.
Yep.
I should go get.
This is my favorite.
That's the rapper's favorite gun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's your 380.
My Glock, I'm going to come around the block and hit you in the.
Yeah, shoot you in the. Yeah. So you can't tell this gun. You can put it in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Very small gun, and which is why I got it. Because
that's not the Glock, though, right? Or is that
no, that's
the
a 380
mini Glock? Oh, 38.
It's a Ruger. It's a 380, so it's a little smaller than the Glock is a 9mm.
I don't know them all by sight. I mean, I know an automatic.
No.
Revolver.
The Glocks kind of all look alike, but
yeah, they're kind of bricks, but they shoot good.
Mm-hmm. And are allegedly very reliable. Yeah.
Well, a lot of cops. This is a Glock 19. A lot of cops carry them. That's
Well, that looks pretty good.
And the Glock 19 is your 22, right?
No. This is the I have a 22 that's like this because the 22 bullets are a lot cheaper to shoot.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's That's my arsenal.
That's your guns. That's your what you've been spending money on lately. This is my my little reference of.
Okay.
I need to put a white background behind it here.
It's a
Joe,
good
so you
one.
can
No,
see
I
it.
see it. I can see it.
The sticky bones, right?
Sticky Bones. He poses really nicely.
How big is that, Ellis?
Well, as you can see, my hand is that big, and so he's bigger than my hand.
Maybe
If I were to straighten him up, he might be 12 inches high. I don't know if he got in the right posture.
Very posable, right?
Yeah, very, very posable. You could turn him into a stop motion character. I just ruined all the attitude he had.
Yeah. So how much was that, Ellis? They're kind of pricey, aren't they?
I think at the time I spent about $70 for it, and I don't think they've gotten any more. I got some sort of special
That's a
introductory, and
really
then I
good one.
waited 2 years for it. Now you can buy them. Apparently you don't have to wait like I had to wait. But I tell you what, by the time you're done posing that, your solving has already been complete for your drawing, and there
Yeah,
you
I
are.
can do that.
And if you wanted to do a turnaround of a character, you could have that at your for reference.
I have some action figures right here, but they're not as posable, and they don't. A lot of times they won't quite stay in the pose.
Yeah. No, that one. It's got the the idea of how the shoulder joint would behave. You can hitch it up high, like it would come up around your ear or whatever, and so you can kind of visualize that way. That socket.
So
I'm gonna
Mario.
I got. Yes, sir.
No. Well, I was going to say, Ellis and I are going to hang out tomorrow. Do you want us to work? You mentioned that I should help Ellis get his.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll make that a
was-
topic.
I was backing up, letting you guys, either do it or not do it.
Role playing.
I'm here if we're going to do it, but I'm okay letting go.
We'll
No, I wanna do it.
Ellis's show, your show. You guys are, I don't want to take over.
Speaking of Ellis's show, I believe I've lost. Scott has gained almost he's up to 1,000. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I've lost
I got more than that.
200. Huh? What's that?
I'm making money on my YouTube channel.
Excellent.
I'm probably scaring away your regulars.
No. It's, I did something. I decided I was going to. I just wanted to show off my narration ability, and I decided I would narrate the first Charles Bukowski story I ever read in the LA Free Press, and that for all I know, that drove off 100 of people saying.
It's very rare that you can make a living doing this. I especially at this point, I want to do what I want to do. Now, I'm not chasing money.
Mm-hmm.
I had that dinosaur book sitting there for, it took 50 years to get to where it is from the ideas, which were not a book. I wasn't taking a book then. I was just doing art, creating puns.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like storytelling. The only stories that anybody's going to watch involve conflict. So that means if I want this to have an audience, I would have to pick a fight. I would have to find something to go after before anybody would say.
A little bit extreme.
Well, no, I'm saying I'd have to pick a fight with culture or whatever. In other words, I could be doing commentary, but I would have to be in the mode of saying, I'm picking a fight. I've got a rant.
Some woman got in trouble for something. I didn't even follow it up, but what she said was, if they don't want me to pick on them, don't get famous.
Yeah, exactly.
No, stop doing bad things.
Oh, is that what she said?
That's what she said. Stop. If they don't want to be picked on, then stop doing bad things.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy. What's the? I don't see what the problem.
Well, it just makes you instantly more interesting to be. You decide you're looking for a fight,
That way.
and people would say, "You remember the old Laurel and Hardy movie where Ollie is
my favorites of all the comedy heroes.
Yeah. You remember the one where Ollie was saying, well, we're going to fight. So they have to go outside, but they happen to be up 10 flights of stairs. And so they start heading for outdoors. And every landing, Stan goes, there's going to be a fight. And so he gets this huge crowd. Yeah. So they follow Stan and Ollie and the guy that's going to fight him outside. And of course, all the guy does is punches him right in the nose. And the fight's over, Ollie grabs his nose.
I've never had a gun pulled on me. I've had knives pulled on me a couple of times.
Oh, that's scarier.
Yeah. Well, is it?
I think so. Well, no, it's not. I've been hog-tied in the back of a quickie mart. Had a gun pulled on me. It's scary.
I've been shot at once.
Yeah, I told you that story once.
What were you shot at? Why am I laughing?
That's
not funny.
I was in junior high, and I had a friend that lived out north of Yukon, and I went out to his house. I spent the night with him one night. Me and another guy, we were going to play Dungeons and Dragons, and the other guy wasn't really into Dungeons and Dragons, and he said, "Let's go." There was a housing edition a little ways from his house. And so he said, let's go down there and toilet paper some houses.
Oh, God, I'll get you shot at.
In the middle of the night, which, by the way, the guy's mom was divorced, and she was nowhere to be. It was the three of us, the only ones in this trailer house on this acre of land or whatever.
Oh, boy.
So we walked in the middle of the night, pitch black, country roads, and we get to, and we pack up. This guy had like an army rucksack, and we packed this up, and he says, let's bring some fireworks. So we brought fireworks, and we walked to this edition, and we were walking around, and they were toilet paper in houses, and I was just like, this is a horrible idea.
That guy needs some hobbies.
Yeah. We should have played D&D. So we go to this house, and they TP the house, and one of the guys goes, I'm going to ring his doorbell.
Oh, boy.
And he rings the doorbell, and this is in the middle of the night, and immediately the light comes on, and we take off running. The guy gets in his car and starts driving around the neighborhood looking.
Wow.
He starts driving around looking for us. And
you never know when somebody's going to go psycho.
Oh, and one of my friends leans out and gives him the finger. And I don't know if he saw it, or I don't know what he was thinking. And the guy goes in his garage, and we're across the street from him. The guy goes, and we're hiding behind this car. The guy goes into his house and comes out, and he's got something in his hand. And I thought it was a bat. I thought he was going to come after us with a bat. But he comes out, and he goes into his driveway, and he aims it, and I hear this boom, and I hear shotgun pellets hitting the car we were hiding behind.
Wow.
And he fired off about 6 rounds and went back to his house, and we took off running.
It sounded like pellets? You mean he might have had an early version of a little handgun with the shotgun shells? What?
No, it was a shotgun.
Okay.
It was buckshot. Well, yeah, it was
probably bird shot.
I think it was bird shot. Yeah, or whatever it was.
He probably wanted to hit you with it.
I think he did.
Yeah, he was aiming right at it.
He probably figured this isn't going to kill.
You were hog-tied?
Yeah,
I try to avoid that whenever possible.
Yeah. Well, Scott, if he's out rural enough, I did tell that story at one point to you, yeah. But Scott was out rural enough that that movie Snatch, when it says never mess with a man that raises pigs, because they could get rid of the body.
Well, this guy lived in a housing addition, so there was a neighborhood.
Yeah, okay, there was a neighborhood.
But they were, I think the guy had hit Sean's dog or something like that, so he was mad at him anyway. Oh,
so he was always a perpetual target, huh?
Right, but I don't know that he knew, but I don't know, and I don't know why. It was, at one point, they were shooting off fireworks, and I was carrying the sack and it had a box of kitchen matches. They were lighting it with kitchen matches.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, they set the grass on fire with a smoke bomb.
Good God.
And I thought, this is insane.
I agree. And you were, how old were you then? In high school, you said, right?
Yeah, I was probably probably junior high. It's
because
probably
I've done
14 or 15.
things that I am so ashamed of.
Oh yeah, me too.
When I was in my 20s, I was a total redneck and an animal.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't care about anybody's feelings.
Yep.
Just
We
did
all
whatever
passed
I
through that.
wanted.
Yeah.
Well-
So most of us passed through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
we,
I did.
we-
I did make it, but I have a
we-
different
we-
attitude now.
we eventually get a little shame about being that way. Yeah.
If you're
Well,
conscious,
most of us do.
If you
I
have a
think you gain
conscience.
a little empathy for people.
Yeah.
And you realize I'm not the center of the universe,
Mhm.
you know. But I mean,
Right.
But
Speak
these
for
guys,
yourself.
they were lighting. So at one point, I got in the rucksack because I was carrying it. They were lighting. Well, I had the box of matches, and at one point, I threw it in a ditch because I was like, they're going to burn down the neighborhood.
Yeah. So you wanted to lose them and legitimately say you lost them. Yeah.
Well, we didn't have a flashlight, so they were like, "Give me the sack with the," and they were going to get
Matches,
the fireworks and get the matches. Where are the matches? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Take those matches away from them. Yeah, you did good back then. Yeah, you did good.
Well, I didn't want to go to jail for burning
Literally. Yeah. Self-preservation too. Just incidentally, self-preservation. Yeah.
Oh, my mom would have killed me if I got sent to jail when I was a
Sure.
kid.
Yeah.
My parents kept a tight rein on me.
My little brother was the only one that could regularly get in trouble. I never got in trouble. Russell was out with apparently there was some famous point in Mustang or somewhere where someone had a marijuana field growing, and then it turns out later the knowledge was the cops allowed the marijuana field so they could pick people off that would try to come in and harvest.
I remember stories like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would pick people off to try to harvest from it. And sure enough, Russell got with a couple of idiots that got out there and filled a couple bags full, and then the cops started chasing them. And it was just such a running gag. Now I can't remember the exact line, so it may have just been, "Where's your bag?" But basically that was a running joke with them forever because of their interaction with the cops later on.
Well, it is that time.
Yeah,
it is that time, isn't it?
I need to go. I got a phone call that I need
Everybody probably needs to go right about now. Hey, good to see you again, Mario. We'll talk
Tuesday,
again.
Maybe Tuesday.
Tuesday sounds good, and we'll be in email touch as well.
That's right.
So we're ending the stream. I'm clicking that button and clicking it again. Good night.